What up, YouTube? It's your boy, it's the PAC man. All things physician assistant. Yeah, I got a lot of gray hair. I didn't know I was becoming so wise. I'm like a philosopher right now. Speaking of philosophy, man, like, let's talk about life philosophy. Like, everybody, if you ever watch this video, at the very end, you should really pause and just stop and ask yourself, like, yo, what is my philosophy in life? Essentially, what brings meaning to your life? And not to get in a whole, like, out of world, out of mind, out of body context, but just in general, like, why do you get out of bed in the morning? What is your purpose? I don't care if your purpose is money, power, fame, whatever it is. If it gets you up out of bed and gets you to grinding, whether it's a physical grind or a mental grind, we're all grinding out here. And really it all comes down to your philosophy. Nobody just gets up. I mean, some people blindly, mindlessly just grind at their job and they do a phenomenal job, but they really don't have any reason as to why they're doing it other than it pays the bills. And really what you're doing is you're fulfilling someone else's philosophy. It's someone's dream to open a business, and that business, and they hired you to fulfill their prophecy, their philosophies. So I strongly, suggest that you just kind of stop and think about, what is my philosophy in life? And look, just to kind of set you in the right state of mind, I'll give you my philosophy. A gentleman by the name of Earl Nightingale, and his whole life philosophy is that your rewards in life are in exact proportion to your contribution and services. And I've taken that and I've adopted it to be my own. And just to kind of break it down a little bit further, like, what does that mean? Your rewards in life are in proportion to your contribution and service. Like, the money that you are paid is determined by the services that you provide. That's true beyond belief. Like, and let's break it down further. Like, in any market that you're in any job that you're in, your reward, your paycheck, your compensation is determined by your contribution, what you contribute to society, to the work, to the job. It's the services, the level of services you provide determine what your reward will be. And I'll give you an example. If you work at a fast food restaurant and your job is to dip the basket of fries, in the oil, set the timer, and in 3 minutes when it beeps, lift the fries, shake it, put it in the fry collector, and pour some salt over it. If that's your full-time job, and there's nothing wrong with that, do whatever you want to do, well, that's your contribution to that company, right? That's the service you provide. So how hard is it for someone to do that for a living, right? It's not very challenging. So because it requires no special level of expertise, then really, for one, there's a million people applying for the same position. So you have a big stack of resumes or applications, and you can really just pull anyone. You can teach anyone to do it, and once they grasp the concept, they'll just pretty much clock in and do this until lunchtime, and then clock out and clock back in and do it again until it's time to go. It's not very hard. So what is your so that's the contribution, that's the service you provide to the company. So what is your compensation for that? What is your reward? Well, your reward is minimum wage because it requires minimum effort. So, well, let's flip the script now. Let's say you are a registered nurse. Now, can you just pull any applicant from the street and be able to calculate, medications and gather history and physical from a patient and determine if the vitals are normal? Just a random individual from the street with no training and no education? The answer is no, not even close. So it requires a specific level of training, right? And you get rewarded or compensated for the level of service that you provide. You're able to work at a hospital or whatever setting you're in, and you're able to provide a service, and you're able to contribute to the health of that patient and to that hospital or that facility. And in exchange, you get compensated different from someone who flips fries, right? So that's my philosophy in life. My rewards in life will always be in direct proportion to the contribution and service that I provide. And so I suggest, you don't have to follow that philosophy, but you find a philosophy in life, and you don't have to make it up from scratch. We've been documenting history for 6,000+ years now. There is a lot of information out there. There's a lot of great ancient philosophers, modern day philosophers. Sometimes I just find like a philosopher and just kind of read up on their, famous quotes. What are they most popular for or known for? And then if I feel like, wow, this quote makes a lot of sense, now I'm curious about the individual, I may read an autobiography about them. And if the autobiography really captured me, then I may just go ahead and do like an audio book about, his most popular book. And if I read a couple quotes and I feel like they have nothing, to better me, I'm not just gonna read it to read it, I move on. So that's kind of something to gear you in the right direction, man. It really comes down to goals in life. Like, if you don't have a goal set, you'll never be happy a day in your life. Doesn't matter how much money you make. Excuse me. I know plenty of PAs, man. Six figures, man, and they're just miserable. I thank God every day for the PA profession. I thank God for Miami-Dade College. Like, this thing changed my life, man. My life. I wasn't doing bad before. I was a teacher. And but this is on a whole nother level, man. This is just, thank God for for every experience that I've been through up to this point. It's incredible. I love this profession, and I get up every day with a big ass cheesy smile on my face. So just in general, like, you need to have goals, man. Like, I have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 15-year plan, a 20-year plan. I drive my wife nuts with this. And I'm constantly moving towards my 5-year plan. Like, right now I'm within my 5-year plan. I started the plan August of last year. So essentially September 1st, 2023 is the end of my 5-year plan. I try not to overload the plan with so many goals that I could barely think. I basically just set up 3 main targets within a 5-year plan, and I try to make them big enough that it's gonna take me all 5 years to do. Think big, but then I also try to keep it realistic as well. So I'll share my 5-year plan. Within my first 5 years, it's the 3 is: buy a house, start a family, become debt free. We recently this year purchased our home. We're 5 months pregnant as of the recording of this video, and the rest of the time will be spent to become debt free. We don't have any credit card debt or anything, but we got massive school loans, and then that's gonna take up the rest of my 5 years, is to become debt free. I don't think about anything else. I don't, like, oh, should we sell this house, buy another house? That's not in the 5-year plan. Should we buy this? It'll be nice. We have the extra money. No, that's not in the 5-year plan. Like, the 5-year plan is right now is to dump debt, and nothing else matters until we're debt free. When we're debt free, we can talk about other stuff, but right now that's it. And then my 10-year plan is like, the faster I can get this 5 done, the faster I can start on the next, the 10-year plan, because the 10-year plan is a big bite. It's a big bite. The 5 was really a lightweight way to motivate myself into seeing how good it feels to accomplish my goals. But the 10 is going to be, it's going to take some work. The 15, I'm hoping I've learned so much from the 10 that I'm matured in goal setting and completing, that I'm able to tackle the 15 and the 20-year goal. But that's the direction I'm going. I'm constantly moving towards something. So it's not like there's not a single Monday that I wake up like, oh, it's just another Monday. Well, for starter, I love my job, so doesn't matter if I was just going to work to go to work, but I'm not. I'm going to work because, the reward that I get from the services that I provide are contributing to completing my 5-year plan. Like every day that I show up, every patient that I see is getting me closer to paying off the debt. And that's essentially completing my 5-year plan. And I'm gonna feel great as hell when that September 1st, 2023 comes around and I look at my 3 targets and they're all checked off, and I'm like, yo, okay, what's that 10-year? Let's see what the 10-year goal is looking like. And that's motivating to me, and that's my philosophy in life, man. So take away from this video, find a philosophy, find something that matters to you, set goals, don't walk around aimlessly. Something else that Earl Nightingale said in one of his audios is think of your life like a ship leaving the harbor. Imagine if there was like no captain at the helm of the ship gearing it. Imagine if you just let it go, just put the ship on forward and just let it just cruise around. And do you really expect it to arrive at its destination without anyone guiding it? The answer is no. If it leaves the harbor at all, it'll probably be lost at sea, never to arrive anywhere, never to have completed or accomplished anything. And that's kind of how life is. Like, you need to be the captain, man. You need to guide the ship of life into a direction at all times, man, because that's how you arrive. That's how you arrive at your destination. You'll almost always, if you have a map of how you're going to arrive at a location, you'll almost always arrive there. Imagine if you didn't have a GPS, or even back in the day before GPS, if you didn't have a roadmap on how to arrive at a destination. Imagine if you were just driving around aimlessly, hoping that you one day run into the address that you're trying to reach. Hey, some people get lucky and actually drive past the address they were looking for. But the reality is that most of us will probably just drive around aimlessly until we run out of gas. That means we got so old we can't even do anything anymore. Or we got lost, or we'd settled and say we couldn't find this address, so we'll just settle and we'll just park here. We'll consider this the address we were looking for. When in reality, that's not the truth. That's not what you really wanted. You just settled. And if you treat life like it's a direction, a destination that you're trying to reach, imagine all this you'll accomplish, man. Like, imagine if you're like, okay, I'm at point A, I'm trying to arrive at point B. What is the fastest way to arrive with the least resistance? Like that's what a GPS does, right? Here is the fastest route. And that's what we're looking for, man. We're just looking for the fastest routes to get to the things that we want in life. And so that's just something to think about. I'm pulling up at work soon. I'm gonna, try to see if I can shorten this video. I gotta listen through it and make sure I wasn't just rambling. And then I'll be sure to post them. And I really do pray that this reaches someone, because, happiness, even chasing happiness, forget that. That's another video. But you just got to be joyful in the moment and constantly be, steadily moving towards something worthwhile, man. It's a short time on earth. It's a beautiful time, but it could be a horrible time. It's really contingent on how your perspectives in life. All right, so any questions, comments, whatever you guys have, man, just feel free to leave it in the comment section below. You know, they notify me on my phone. I'll be more than happy to just answer any questions or whatever you guys need, man. I just want to see everybody happy, man. It makes me happy. See you guys. Love you.